Some proposed changes in Dubuque ambulance service face resistance. I'm Dave Shay.
I'm Maggie Jensen. There's been another arrest in the Waterloo murder of Al Davidson. Verbal fights continue as a man clings to life. And Dave Towne says it will be cooler and then warm up again.
All that and more is coming up next on 2 Action News. Good evening. 21-year-old Michael Stastny is in a coma tonight.
He suffered head injuries in a Friday night fight. 19-year-old John Springer is charged with willful injury. But Colleen Riley reports if Stastny dies, that charge could be changed to murder.
The fight began here in this East Side restaurant. Police say Mike Stastny was having a few beers with friends when John Springer challenged him to a fight. They crossed the street to this parking lot. When it was over, Stastny was rushed to Mercy Hospital with head injuries. John Springer, on the left, was charged with willful injury. But Stastny's condition is critical. The county attorney's office says if Stastny dies, the case will be treated as a homicide. Springer was in court today. Bond was set at $25,000. And the judge admonished a group of Stastny's friends to quit making threats against Springer's life. Had there been any threats?
No, we just wanted to see this guy and see what he looked like, you know, and just see what was going to happen because his family wants to know.
Slocum says the family and friends have been keeping a vigil at the hospital where Stastny has been depending on life support systems to stay alive.
I don't know, it's bad. I just hope he lives. I pray to God that he lives. His family's really upset.
But John Springer's mother says her son is not guilty, and he is certainly not a murderer.
They were going to pull the plug on him this morning, they said. Our attorney called us about 11 o'clock, and he was going to be dead. Now we find out he isn't dead. My son is back in jail. If he does die, my son will get arrested again.
And Maggie, I just checked with the hospital. Mike Stastny is still in critical condition in isolation at Mercy Hospital.
Okay, thanks, Colleen. Dave?
A 4th man has been arrested in connection with the shotgun killing of Waterloo lawyer Alvin Davidson. Davidson was gunned down in front of his Waterloo apartment last month. Charged today was 32-year-old William Francis Wilson of Waterloo. He was accused of perjury for allegedly lying under oath in a deposition about the murder. Police say they may make more arrests before the investigation is over. The Highway 61 project in Dubuque is a step closer to reality tonight. $2 million in federal funds was released today for that project. It'll be used to buy right-of-way for the highway in Dubuque. The 61 project is intended to connect Dubuque to the recently opened bridge across the Mississippi. Negotiations for purchasing the land for the right-of-way will begin soon.
The city of Waterloo is preparing for a huge influx of money and jobs during the construction of Interstate 380 within the city of limits. Blackhawk County correspondent Roger Riley reports one man has been hired to oversee the $180 million worth of construction.
A major part of the road program is bridges across the Cedar River, possibly 3 of them. A bridge across the Cedar River at 6th Street could be one of the first portions of the road system built inside Waterloo. A new replacement bridge for Highway 218 will be built across the Cedar River in Cedar Falls, while another bridge may extend Hackett Road across the river as well. Also, there are several other metro road projects.
It pleases us that we're getting the treatment that we've always wanted, that we've always fought for, and we're also getting the consideration on the importance, I guess I'll say, of this project from Iowa Department of Transportation.
The Blackhawk County Road Project is so big the DOT has brought in Jerry Solbeck to coordinate all the road programs in the local area. DOT officials explained the status of the road programs to local officials.
The alternative plans that we would like to assess with the community, with local officials and the citizens, we expect to be able to report and analyze and assess with you during this summer.
During 1983, the DOT will spend approximately $5 million on road projects in Blackhawk County. Already, unemployed people have been asking about jobs on those projects. The DOT's Ian McGilvery says all inquiries should be referred to Job Service of Iowa. Roger Riley, 2 Action News, Blackhawk County.
Still to come, Dubuque officials consider a change in ambulance service.
And Waterloo's newest hotel prepares to open. Last year, the city of Dubuque lost a court suit and now must consider a new ambulance ordinance.
That new ordinance would allow private operators to compete with the city's ambulance service. The council will consider that ordinance tonight. However, Dubuque County correspondent Mark Towne says there still may be only one ambulance service in the city.
The word came down from the Supreme Court last November. Dubuque City Ambulance Service is subject to the Iowa competition law, and the city has no authority to deny issuing licenses for competing services. A lawsuit had been filed by 3 area men who wanted to start a service that would handle the routine calls, like transporting patients from nursing homes to the hospital and back. But the city makes a lot of money off of that service, and it turned down the request. The men sued, it went to the Supreme Court, and the city lost. Now the new ordinance will allow a competing service to operate in the city, but with a hitch. The personnel must have the same amount of training that the city ambulance crew has. One Dubuque man says that clause is in there to keep him out of business.
They have told me why they want to keep me out of business, and that is because of money. They don't want me taking any revenue away from the city.
Fiffner is one of the 3 men who sued the city. Today, he and another Dubuque man filed articles of incorporation for a business known as Dubuque Medical Transport Incorporated. Fiffner still wants to start a service that would handle the routine calls, but under the new ordinance, he couldn't do it because he doesn't have as much training as the city ambulance crew has. So he says he probably will end up in court again on the new ordinance.
I think when they finally figure that I'm going to stick on it, as long as I will, maybe they'll give in. I don't know.
Mark Towne, 2 Action News, Dubuque.
The new Holiday Inn in downtown Waterloo does not plan an official opening for a week or so. However, it may be open for business this week. A hotel spokesman says he is trying for what he calls a soft opening before the end of the week, which means that some or most of the facilities would be open. The hotel plans to show off for the news media next week. The first convention booked at the hotel in the Conway Civic Center across the street is March 8th and 9th.
Union employees at the thermal line plant in Dubuque are voting today on a new contract. Although details have not been announced, sources close to the negotiations say the new contract calls for concessions in both wages and benefits. The present contract expires at midnight tonight, and union members have authorized a strike if a new contract is not agreed to.
Coming up, more presidential politicking in Iowa.
And Eastern Iowans prepare to bid farewell to MASH. For the second time in 3 months, State Prison Ombudsman Ray Cornell has been arrested for drunk driving.
The 35-year-old Cornell was arrested in Altoona about midnight last night. He was also charged with driving with a suspended license. Police say it was revoked last May and had not been reinstated because Cornell had not completed a school for drunk drivers. Lieutenant Governor Robert Anderson said Cornell should take alcoholism rehabilitation treatment if he is found guilty on this latest charge.
The race for the White House in 1984 is already on. One of the Democratic candidates has been traveling through Iowa the past few days. He is California Senator Alan Cranston. And Johnson County correspondent Al Henkel has been with him in Iowa City today. Al, what did the senator talk about?
Well, Dave, Cranston is a very seasoned politician, and he used the primary rule that all politicians use: tell the audience what they want to hear. In Iowa City today, the main point was cut spending on guns and use that money for education. Cranston is well known for his views on nuclear control. He says money foolishly used for the buildup of weapons could be better used in domestic programs, primarily education. He cited examples of Japanese and Soviet colleges turning out more engineers than U.S. schools, a trend that must stop. Cranston then answered questions from students in the audience. One interesting question posed: will you support universities that are researching military contracts, such as the U of I is now doing? Cranston's answer: leave the choice up to the university, and he would support the university's decision. Al Henkel, 2 Action News, Iowa City.
This was a perfect, absolutely beautiful day today. Too bad we couldn't have had a couple like that over the weekend.
Yeah, what are we doing here today?
Really, let's, all pack up and go outside.
Reschedule the weekend for Monday. That'd be a good idea. The problem is Tuesday won't be quite as nice in our weather forecast, but still not that bad for the first day of March. Tonight, our pictures by Jeremy German, age 10, of Cedar Rapids. It was a nice day today, and it'll be a little different tomorrow. We'll have our forecast in just a moment.
That's Jerome.
Jerome, I'm sorry.
Dave Towne's weathercast has the seal of approval of the American Meteorological Society.
It was a perfect day. It was a great day. It was the last day of February, and what a way to end the month. We had mild temperatures with highs in the 50s and the 60s. It looks like we will see some change in the weather forecast as a weak little cool front tries to move through Iowa. But even then, the temperatures will be in the 40s tomorrow. We do have a slight chance of rain coming up for the first day of March. Have another picture we want to show you tonight, the satellite picture from the west coast taken at late afternoon, and it shows a strong storm system battering California. And they're expecting up to 5 inches of rain along California's coast before this one's out of that area. And the thing about this storm is it will move almost due east and affect Iowa's weather by later on into the week. And it looks like we'll see some rain Thursday and Friday, along with nice mild temperatures. Let's check that national weather map tonight. We do see a weak cold front in the area, but it looks like it may tend to dissipate. An upper air disturbance will move through tomorrow, and we could see a few showers in the area, but this is the big storm out west. All you see on the map here is a little warm front, but there's a cold front off the coast, and it looks like this will be quite a storm system. Gale warnings are in effect. Winds in excess of 60 miles an hour are forecast, and even some winter storm watches in effect for some of the higher elevations. Heavy rains are falling down in Louisiana and down over Florida. They've had up to 8 inches of rain during the weekend as a vigorous storm system is located there. National Radar Summary confirms that rain in the southeast tonight. It also confirms the rain out in the west, and it also confirms not much is happening in the Midwestern section of the country this evening. Here's a check of the weather map for tomorrow at about noontime. Looks like a real nice day, even though a cold front will be moving through, a very weak one. You could see a few showers in and around the area. Temperatures not as warm tomorrow, highs in the 40s to around 55 degrees, but that'll be in extreme southern Iowa. Here's a check of the weather map at 6 o'clock tonight. Skies are cloudy and clear. Seeing some clouds move down from Minnesota, and it looks like we'll see more clouds through most of the area tonight. 59 the current temperature out at Omaha Council Bluffs in the eastern part of the state. Look at this, 48 degrees at Waterloo. They're cloudy, 47 and fair here in Cedar Rapids. Iowa City has 51. It's 42 degrees at Dubuque. And by the way, the National Weather Service at Des Moines has confirmed the fact that this winter was the 5th warmest on record for them and the warmest winter weather in the last 50 years for the Des Moines area. So quite a warm one this last 3 months. Here's a check of the highs and the lows over Iowa today. 50s pretty much common over the entire area except for Des Moines. Made it to 63 degrees. We'll have the official highs and lows and also a complete breakdown of the February weather for eastern Iowa tonight at 10. Here's a weather forecast for tonight at 6. Look for increasing cloudiness, and there's a possibility of a shower in extreme northern Iowa tonight. A low of 30 in the north to 35 in the south, and the winds are variable right now, so we'll call variable winds for tonight at up to 10 miles an hour. Then for Tuesday, cloudy skies and a chance of showers with highs 44 to 50, so not quite as warm as today. Winds tomorrow from the southeast at 10 to 15. And for tomorrow night, the clouds should stick around for a while, a low from 30 north to 35 south. And then Wednesday, partly cloudy skies, and we warm up again, 50 to 55 degrees. That storm over California will just fan in warm weather through the weekend. Let's check that weekend weather. The extended forecast for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The bars go to the top. On Thursday, a high of 58, and we had to stick the showers down in the bars tonight because the bars are too high. So there is a chance of showers on Friday and into Saturday as that California storm moves into the area. So I'm all excited tonight.
You sure are. You know, that means, though, that March is going to come in like a lamb, doesn't it?
That's right.
And you know what that means. I don't know in meteorological terms what it means, but I know what it means.
You want to tell
Everybody
me?
there knows what it means.
Another April Fool's blizzard.
Oh, no.
Something like that.
Just like last year.
Yeah, right. Thank you, Dave. The stock market fell this afternoon, at least partly due to profit-taking. Trading was active. On the commodity market, Cedar Rapids area corn was 2 cents lower, beans were 12 cents lower. At Chicago, March corn was down 5, May corn was down 6, March beans dropped 14, May beans fell 13. Interior Iowa hogs were $1 to $1.50 lower. The cattle market was not well established. At Chicago, April hogs were down $1.02, June hogs were down 73. April cattle were $1.28 lower, and June cattle were 85 cents lower. And Howard, I just saw that the top 10, top 20, top 30 came out. And
not top 30.
Top 40. I don't know if Iowa's going to make the top 40 after the weekend.
Oh, sure. Sure they are.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah,
oh.
but they didn't make the top 20.
Oh.
But that's...
It's easy to say for you to say they made the top 40 then.
Well, I don't know, but I would rate them among the top 40 in the country, and you should too, Dave.
I do. 21.
All right. That plus we'll look at Linmar's incredible performance in the girls' regional gymnastics in just a moment. the running Rebels, I guess, couldn't stand life at the top. Despite Sidney Green's supreme efforts on the alley-oop, Nevada-Las Vegas came out on the short end for the second game in a row. After winning 24 straight and rising to number 1, UNLV lost first to Fullerton State, and yesterday to West Virginia. The Mountaineers, paced by the outside shooting of Greg Jones, in whipping Nevada-Las Vegas yesterday, 87-78. So, the new number 1 team in the country is Houston, followed by Virginia, then Louisville, Villanova, and Arkansas, and they play Houston in a Southwest Conference showdown on Thursday. UCLA heads the second 5, followed by Kentucky, North Carolina, Nevada, Las Vegas, and St. John's. And then on into the second 10, you find Indiana 11th, Missouri from the Big 8 13th, back to the Big 10 for Ohio State 14th, and Purdue 20th. And yes, unfortunately, the Hawkeyes fall out of the top 20. The field's complete for April's Big 10 USA Super Shootout here in Cedar Rapids with the addition of these USA All-Stars. Kentucky's Dirk Minifield, one of the quickest guards in the country. Darryl Call Me Sky Walker of Arkansas, a tremendous leaper. He's the Southwest Conference's leading scorer. Also Darren Day of UCLA and Rodney McRae from Louisville. And a man you may not have heard a lot about, but the NBA scouts are drooling over big Mark West from Old Dominion. You add those guys in with the previous announced players, and you've got 7 of the current top 10 teams represented in the shootout. Wrestling and basketball stole the headlines this weekend, but out at Linn-Mar, they're busting their buttons over their girls' gymnastics team, which won its regional and defeated state champion Clinton in the process. And there were a number of outstanding performances by area competitors. Kennedy's Buffy Christensen with a nice finish here to her tumbling routine. And from Linn-Mar, they were paced by Wendy Thompson's first in the floor exercise. Here, Tracy Nix in the vault, and she scored an 8.4 on this attempt. The top 6 finishers in each event advance to next month's state meet. They finished up the Doral Golf Classic this afternoon, a day late due to rain, but it didn't bother Gary Koch. He came in at 17 under par, and he won the tournament by 5 over Ed Fiore. Iowa State's Harold Nichols says Iowa will probably be the favorite to win its 6th straight NCAA wrestling title. That's because of the Hawkeyes' devastating performance in the Big Tens, where they crowned 9 out of 10 champions. And while Dan Gable had to be pleased, he knows the Big Tens and the NCAAs are 2 very different animals.
No, we're not a shoe-in by far. This isn't the NCAA tournament. We have a tournament to go through, and it's going to be a little bit tougher than this one, so we're going to have to be more ready and even wrestle better than we did in this tournament.
But does this give you the feeling that you can do it?
Yes, this gives us momentum, and I'm sure it gives them belief that they're just awfully tough.
We shall find out in Oklahoma City for the NCAA's week after next. Finally, a couple of national briefs. The Philadelphia 76ers say they'll be without forward Bobby Jones. He broke the big toe in his right foot in yesterday's game against Golden State. And San Diego says Bill Walton will miss tomorrow night's game with Utah. Apparently he's running short of fluid in his right ankle. And I tell you, that guy has been a walking, what?
Case history for the medics, I guess you'd say.
He plays a game a week, and then they were going to up him to 2, and problems come up, just one thing after another.
Real medical curiosity, I guess, Howard. Thank you very much, Howard.
Tonight, television history will be written when the long-running series MASH comes to an end. By some estimates, more than half the country will be watching. John Okerstrom reports some people are going to extremes to see the end.
Well, I have to work till 9 tonight.
Though he won't be able to give MASH his undivided attention tonight, Larry Pence is luckier than most. He works at an electronics store where video recorders will be in full gear.
Gee, if we didn't sell TVs here, I wouldn't be able to watch MASH, and I'd be upset.
Susan Green works tonight amid more pots and pans than television sets, but she will see it.
I really don't care for the show, but I'm having it taped anyway.
Now, why is that?
I'll see it go off in style.
And at St. Luke's Hospital, some evening shift employees will be scrambling for TV sets during their breaks. Others called ahead.
One of my staff isn't coming in tonight. He says he was sick.
Do you
Hopefully
believe that?
That's true. I believe the integrity of my staff is beyond repute.
Even on MASH Monday?
I don't know.
I said I make out the hours, so I'm going to be home watching MASH tonight. You know, what can I say? You have to pull rank when you can.
Tonight at 10, tearful goodbyes from the cast of MASH and a wild celebration of the final show from Iowa City. John Okerstrom, 2 Action News, Cedar Rapids.
It's really amazing what that show has meant to the country, isn't it, though?
Oh, it certainly is. I saw some of the raw video from John's story for 10 tonight, and it looks like they had a lot of fun at the MASH Bash in Iowa City last week. Sure. And he's prepared a nice long story that'll be really fun to watch, I think.
People going to shed a tear tonight, Howard, when it goes?
A time or two, yeah.
I think we'll all try to get our work done early and catch a peek at it, maybe, yeah?
I don't know about you. I got basketball tonight.
Oh, yeah. Well, nose to the grindstone there, Howard. Well, that's 2 Action News at 6.
We will be back at 10, so please join us then.